Whether you are a believer in the paranormal or not, the idea of ghosts, spirits, and ghouls is something that, at one point or another, will have made even the most hardcore non-believer question what they believe to be true, and what they believe to be fiction. From cult horror flicks to terrifyingly true stories, the idea of hauntings and the paranormal have captivated the minds of millions across the globe. While some will only ever experience the sometimes sinister supernatural behind the safety barrier of the cinema screen, others have had rather more sincere meetings with those who survive from beyond the grave. Luckily for all the horror fans out there, these stories make for excellent and often unsettling retelling. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at 3 malevolent stories of haunted places. Pope's exorcist says the devil is in the Vatican. Our next topic also involves Gabriele Amorth. As the head exorcist for the Vatican, this man has seen some things. His study holds photos of the Virgin Mary, copies of the Bible, and a bed with restraining ropes for his practice. Amorth stated that the devil is not everywhere, but when he is present, it is painful. The devil is pure spirit, invincible. He is shown with the painful blasphemies coming from the person which he possesses. He can stay hidden. He can speak different languages. He can transform himself. Amorth has seen many exorcisms and many cases that led him to believe the devil is alive and well, and that he is in the Vatican. He claims that the devil tries to attack within Vatican City, and he has tried with the 1981 attack of Ali Aqsa. Additionally, the Christmas attack with the crazy woman who tried to harm Benedict XVI. The smoke of Satan looms over the Vatican, especially with the recent events with the church scandal of some horrific claims. When Amorth was interviewed, he was asked, "You've said publicly that you believe, referring to the current church scandals, that Satan is in the Vatican. Do you still believe this?" He replied with a simple yes, and went on to say that he believes that Satan rules the world and that Satan is in the Vatican. The Vatican Bank Scandals. Next, we will look at the scandals with the connections to the mafia that the Vatican has been connected to. Many years ago, the Vatican financed its operation with donations and indulgences. Early on, the Vatican made little effort to keep track of finances, which meant the institution was rampant with extravagant and unnecessary spending and embezzlement. After being on the edge of financial ruin more than once, the Vatican decided it was time to appoint Bernardino Nogara as its financial advisor in 1929, who straightened out the church's finances and grew a $92 million investment from Mussolini into almost $1 billion. World War II also played a huge role in the creation of the Vatican Bank, as well as the unique power it held. As the Allies imposed restrictions on bank accounts, it became harder to move money around. Nogara created the bank, called the Institute for Religious Works, in 1942 to avoid having financial transactions tracked through Western banks. Because it resided in Vatican City, it was exempt from all wartime restrictions and became the world's best offshore bank. The mission to hoard money through the church turned into something shadier than they could ever have imagined. A German officer admitted to having many wartime spies in the Vatican. One of these spies was rumored to be the financial advisor Nogara, and during the war, he began investing in Italian insurance companies. These companies made money by keeping financial assets from life insurance policies of deceased Jewish policyholders and refused to pay out for those still living. The Vatican was never a direct insurer, so it was not required to pay restitution after the war. During the war, many financial records were lost and destroyed, and the Vatican itself refused access to its record. The full scope of this scheme remains widely unclear. At the time, the Pope refused to publicly denounce anything that Germany was operating, even though the Vatican was well informed of what was going on before allies even knew. This led to a systemic best management of funds into a long-term link to the mafia. In 1973, the US Justice Department began looking into the role that the Vatican Bank played in a counterfeit and stolen securities operation led by the mafia. New York gangsters were planning to sell fake corporate bonds and stock certificates to the Vatican. This would have been an almost billion-dollar payment. An individual Vatican cardinal was going to use the faked securities as collateral in order to obtain financing. The fake bonds would have gone completely undetected unless the Vatican bank lost money on its investments and couldn't pay back on loans, and even then, the Vatican could claim ignorance of an outside scam. The Vatican has also been accused of laundering money for the mafia and other Italian entities. Because its unique sovereignty, the Bank of the Vatican has the ability to withhold account information from authorities. This secrecy has provided a great cover throughout history. The thing about the Vatican is that you cannot truly investigate any funds that enter or leave the bank. In 2012, 4 priests came under investigation for operating bank accounts for the mafia. While the Vatican is a beautiful place, there is much to uncover about its deeper-rooted history. From exorcisms to mafia laundering, there is much more than meets the eye. Canadian police investigate after 14th human foot washes up on coastline. If you are familiar with unsolved mysteries and true crime stories, you might just have heard of the strange phenomenon of human feet washing up on coastlines around Canada's British Columbia. To make the story even stranger, these feet were all wearing running shoes, and some of the bodies have never, ever been found. This instance is actually the 14th such occurrence of feet washing ashore. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police made the discovery of the 14th foot, but the pattern first emerged in 2007 and has yet to be solved. This particular foot was discovered on Gabriola Island in the Strait of Georgia. According to the report by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, a man was walking on the island's beach before noticing a strange object. It looked like a foot inside a hiking boot, which had become stuck inside a log jam, which is where a large number of logs blocks a flow of water. Some theorists have suggested that the feet are the result of accidents at sea, such as shipwrecks or plane crashes. Another explanation is natural disasters, such as tsunamis. Another, more sinister theory is that it could be the work of organized crime groups or even the plot of a serial attacker. Some people have attempted to play pranks on law enforcement by adding phony shoes with fake human bones. "We've had people put dog-foot skeletons in runners and leave them on the beach," said Barb McClintock of the province's coroner's office, and somebody even used some old chicken bones. McClintock suggested that the reason why all of the feet are wearing running shoes is because the light, buoyant nature of the shoes allows the feet to float on the water's surface. It also acts as a layer of protection from decomposition. A previous foot was found in a similar fashion on Vancouver Island. In December 2017, a dog walker found a shoe tangled in seaweed after his dog led him to it. That specific foot was identified as belonging to a 79-year-old man from Washington State, United States. That particular man was listed as missing but later found washed up. There is still no explanation for his passing of life. Despite the spooky circumstances, the British Columbia Coroner's Office does not believe the feet are related to anything untoward. A number of the feet have been identified, and the coroner states that the individuals who the feet belong to either passed away accidentally or ended their lives themselves. The feet then separate from the body due to decomposition, but their shoes protect the feet until they eventually wash ashore. Still, the story is yet to be solved, as are the identities of multiple owners of the washed-up remains. But what do you make of these most haunted places? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.